Hello everyone, so in this video we're doing a bunch more recipes for our recipe challenge where I try different recipes and write the ones we like into a recipe book. I'm gluten-free and dairy-free if you didn't know, and the first recipe we're making this week is Marry Me Chicken Soup. I've not tried Marry Me Chicken before, and then this is the soup version. So these are the ingredients we need. So the first thing I'm doing is dicing up the onions and some celery, 3 celery sticks. I'll link the recipes below, by the way. Then I have some chicken thigh or drumstick fillets, and I've cut them up and I'm adding some Italian seasoning and cooking them. Dicing up some carrots. I didn't follow the recipe exactly, but pretty much. And here's all the veg ready to go into the chicken. This was a super easy recipe to make. Then just add in some cornstarch, I believe, or flour. And then I've added the liquids, and I'm letting that boil with some spinach in. And I also added the spaghetti. I split it in half just so that it went in the pot easier. I'm using just gluten-free spaghetti from Tesco. And I use the Amlia plant cream, double cream for the cream, because I can't have gluten or dairy. And here it is all finished, and it was pretty delicious. So that's the first thing we made. So the next thing isn't really a meal, it's just some of the stuff that we used out the garden. So I just used some lettuce, I think it's the butter, I forget the name, but lettuce out the garden, and I just wanted to show you guys that, and I just added it to some pasta that I made. But I just think it's so fun being able to use stuff out the garden, and we're into that season now where we can start using things. So I shot this video a little while ago, but how exciting is that? And all these plants have grown so much since then. This is some coriander that I've also taken in to go on the pasta. Delicious. So I give that a wash, and then just add it to some pasta and some sausage. But that just made me happy that we're into that season. And anyway, the next thing we make, which is a proper meal, is a pasta salad. So we have some chicken that I think it came pre-diced, and to that I'm going to add some Italian seasoning again. I love Italian seasoning. Again, I will link this recipe below, but I did adapt it. Some salt as well. And we're also going to add some bacon into that as well once it's cooked up a bit. And we're also boiling some pasta at the same time. I did manage to break the saucepan lid. So next we just need to chop up the veggies. So the spring onion, some herbs, some cucumber, some garlic, and I get that all into the pot. And I use some lettuce out of the garden, and also some paprika, mayo, Italian seasoning, and apple cider vinegar, which I forgot to take the lid off for the sauce. I kind of just added as much sauce as I wanted, and then this is it all finished. Delicious. So the next thing we're making is a sticky sweet rice, mango, and coconut milk recipe. I saw it on Pinterest and I wanted to give it a try. I'd wanted to give it a try for a while, so I finally got around to trying it. So I'm just making the rice according to the rice instructions. I'm adapting this recipe because I don't have a steamer. So I'm just doing the rice according to the rice instructions. And then here I'm making the coconut sauce according to the recipe. This is a great recipe because it's gluten-free and dairy-free, so it really just works out great anyway for my dietary needs. So here's the rice cooked. You can see it's nice and sticky. And then I'm just mixing in the sauce. I didn't take a very good video of this, but I'm just mixing half the sauce, and then the other half of the sauce we turn into like a thicker, more like a condensed coconut. Like condensed milk, a bit like that, but coconut. I did double the recipe of rice, and I don't think I needed to because it's super filling. But I put this in the fridge and had some for the next couple of days for breakfast, and I would definitely do that again. It was really great. So here I'm just turning it into making a cornstarch slurry with the coconut milk. So you mix that with the cornstarch and then add it back in. I did do a little bit extra than I ended up doing here because it just didn't thicken it up enough. But basically just mix the cornstarch with some of the milk from the pan and then add it back into the pan. And then it will thicken up the sauce ultimately, which is the aim. So here's it once it's all thickened up. And here's the amount of rice I ended up making, which was way too much. And here's my mango chopped up. But here's one of the balls I made up. Oh, it was so good. I didn't add sesame seeds, but I could do it next time, I just forgot. And I ate it one for the evening for my dessert, and it was fantastic. And then the last thing we're making is some chocolate twists. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making like a brioche dough kind of thing, and then I'm going to turn that into twists. So here I'm just adding some yeast into my flour mixture, and this one I don't have a recipe for because this one's my own, but I haven't made it perfect yet, so I don't want to say the recipe, but I will be releasing basically a croissant recipe soon, and that's what I used to inspire this. But yeah, basically you could just do this with any odd dough, but I did make it more into a croissant-y dough. And then I had this plant-based Nutella, which I'd never seen before, and I got that and it was delicious. So here they are before I've let them rise, and then here they are after they've risen. And I put some chocolate chips in there, cooked them at 220 Celsius, and here they are after the oven. So I would just like them to be slightly flakier, which is why I'm not telling the recipe right now because I just want to make it perfect. But I wanted to include them anyway. And I will release a recipe for these soon. They were still delicious. I just want them a little bit more perfect before I say the recipe. But anyway, once these are all done, I gave a few to friends and family and they enjoyed them too. So I'm grateful for you hanging around and watching this video. At the end, I just like to write all the recipes into this recipe book as part of the recipe challenge, and so that I can look back on them. And so the ones that ended up making it, like I say, I'm still working on the chocolate twist, but I did add the mango sticky rice in because that was absolutely delicious, and I definitely need to make that again for some breakfast. I did add the pasta salad, and I did also add the marinade chicken soup, like pasta soup. And so I think the soup will be really good in like autumn, winter time. I think that's when that will really shine. But the pasta salad's really great for summer, and so is the mango chicken. So I'll speed it up and kind of writing it all down. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for a recipe book similar to this, I actually found that one that I'm writing in a charity shop. So apparently that's something you can actually find. And it does have a few recipes already written in it, but not many. So I'm filling it out with the rest, and I think it's kind of fun. It's actually quite an old recipe book, I think, and like it was published a little while ago. So it must have just been in someone's bookshelf, and they were eventually like, oh, I never use this, and they got rid of it. But you can also find lots of really nice ones online. I see them all the time. So yeah, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.